Hey everybody, what is going on? It's Adam Vanderhoof here from GAWDA TV. This year's Spring Management Conference is less than 1 month away. This will be our first opportunity to gather in person to network and learn from industry experts in more than a year. More than 500 people have already signed up to attend, and the buzz is crazy. We cannot wait to see you all in person again. If you haven't already, click the link in the description to register. This will truly be the event you cannot miss. Today's episode is all about the SMC. We have interviews with multiple presenters from this year's conference. For a sneak peek of what you can expect in Nashville, stay tuned after a word from today's presenting sponsor, Weldcoa. Joining us first today is one of GAWDA's keynote presenters for this year's SMC. He is a retired U.S. Navy captain and best-selling author for works such as Turn the Ship Around and Leadership is Language. We welcome to the show Captain David Marquet. Captain, thank you for joining.
Hey, Adam, thanks for having me on your show. I'm so excited. It's going to be a real event. Oh my gosh, and in Nashville of all places. I'm really looking forward to that.
You'll be giving one of the keynote presentations for GAWDA's SMC in May. Can you give members a preview of some of the topics that you expect to touch on during the presentation?
Yeah, my story is I used to be a nuclear submarine commander, and I got that way because I was really good at telling people what to do. And I made great decisions, and I got the team. The team was essentially an extension of my brain when I was operating at my best. So I thought. And my story took an interesting twist when at the very last minute, after 12 months of preparing for one ship, I got sent to a different ship, a ship that was in trouble. Worst performing ship in the fleet and the worst morale. Now, I had dealt with these things before and been able to sort of fix them through thinking my way through the problem and force of personality and coercing the team into, using my will, exerting my will on the team. Here's the wrinkle. This was a ship that I actually had never, a kind of submarine I'd never been on, newest ship in the fleet. And it really upended in a fundamental way everything I thought about leadership, where the idea was I needed to get 140 brains thinking, not just one brain thinking and 139 brains doing. And it resulted in such an explosion of thinking and passion and ownership. We set records all over the place, short-term, long-term. It was like a classic win-win-win situation. It was better for them, it was better for the Navy, and it was better for me. I had so much less stress in my life. I used to run around, it was exhausting, tell people what to do, and then go check on them. By the time I get check on the first person, the last person, I had to go check, so it was an unending story. And so that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping to convey to the audience, because they're probably like me. They're probably thinking they're doing all the right things. And the key is, the secret is, it all happens with language. It's simply the words that we say to each other. And we've been conditioned, we've been trained, we've been handed a playbook of how to act as leaders, which is based on running an industrial age organization. Mm-hmm. And when you realize, the problem isn't how I'm playing that playbook, the problem is this playbook is designed for a different time, then all of a sudden it's like the blinders come off. It literally felt that way for me. So we're gonna have fun, it's gonna be fast, it's gonna be furious. Hopefully there'll be some moments and maybe some aha, but more importantly, some things that they can go ahead and try the very next day, as soon as they get home from the conference.
You've talked about the concept of intent-based leadership. Can you give a quick definition of what intent-based leadership is and how it can change the way companies go about their business?
So we have certain patterns of communication. And one of the very most standard patterns in any bureaucracy is permission. It's a permission-based environment. In other words, if I don't hear yes, the answer is no. If I hear nothing, the answer is no. If it has to go through 6 people and any one of them says no, the answer is no. There are so many ways to say no in most hierarchies. And then we like, oh, how come there's not a whole lot of innovation, creativity, passion, or sense of ownership or initiative here? It's like, yeah, because we have designed an organization where there's 50 ways to say no. And there's only one tiny loophole. If you get everything lined up just right, you get yes. So what we do with intent-based leadership is we're going to flip that model. We're going to say there's 50 ways to say yes. And it starts with people not waiting to be told what to do, not, oh, now that you've empowered me, now I know what to do. But it comes from within. Hey, boss, here's what I see, here's what I think, here's what I intend to do about it. Here's what I see, here's what I think, here's what I intend to do about it. When people say that, you can't hide behind the irresponsibility of, oh, my boss told me to do it. A structure in which you tell, as soon as you tell someone to do something, you might as well give them 2 tickets. Ticket number 1 says, and you're no longer responsible because I've told you to do it, because they're going to use that ticket if it goes bad. Sure. They're going to say, yeah, I thought it was a stupid idea, but my boss told me to do it. And number 2, you give them a ticket, turn your brain off. Don't bother bringing it to work anymore. Because I'm doing the thinking for you. I'll do the decision making. You do the doing. You implement the decisions that my brain figures it out. Well, guess what? Their brain is as big as you. Probably they know more about it. So one of the things we say is this traditional way of organizing a hierarchy is to channel the information that's known on the periphery. The drivers, they know, hey, I've been to that site 4 times. They're log jammed. There's no parking spots. I need to do it at the end of the day, whatever. They have all this information that the people in the center don't have. So we try our best. Oh, let's channel that to the middle, and then some big brain, some choke point in the middle is going to make decisions, and they're going to route the drivers in a certain way, which it's not going to make any sense because they don't have. No matter how hard we try, they're not going to have all the information, and then the drivers just become doers. Mm-hmm. Well, it's stupid, but I'm going to do it anyway. I waste time. Doesn't matter. I get paid the same. So what we do is we give the authority, we push, what we say is push authority for decision-making to where the information is native. So can we let the drivers figure out what the route is? What does it take for that to happen? Well, they need some route planning. Maybe they need software to plan their routes. They need some degree of coordination among the drivers so they don't all go to the same place. Yeah, we got that. Those are all doable things. But then what happens is, now I've got, instead of having a dispatcher and a dozen people just do what they're told, now I got 13 thinking brains. And those people are going to come up with more and better ideas. And that's how organizations are going to win. That's how they're going to stay alive over the next 100 years, 200 years. If it's just you being right, you'll be right, make money. You'll be right, make money. You'll be right, make money. Then you're wrong, bankrupt.
You mentioned that some people are working off of an industrial age playbook in a digital world. How difficult is it for companies to shift their thinking to this intent-based leadership mindset in your experience?
It's either super easy or it's super hard. It depends upon your perspective. It's as easy and as hard as learning a new language. Or picking up let's say you never played tennis and you want to be able to show up at the local courts and not be utterly humiliated. You don't need to be Roger Federer, but you just sort of, good enough, hold your own kind of thing. So there's got to be this awareness that I believe that thinking is going to win in the long run, and not just me thinking and everyone else doing, but everybody thinking. And then you have to, that's the easy part. Most people are ready to nod their head on that. But then the next part is to say, and the way I'm going to do it is to change my own behaviors, change my own habits, change, for example, the way I ask a question. On a construction site, we often see people doing toolbox brief in the morning, and then they'll say something like, so is it safe? Are we ready to go? And I have a couple clients who are global construction companies, and so I get to stand and with a hard hat and muddy shoes, steel-toed shoes on a construction site, just as the sun's coming up. I've never heard anyone raise their hand and say, no, I don't think it's safe today. No, I don't think it's ready to go to work. No one does that. They don't actually say anything. They don't agree. They just stand there. And then the foreman says, okay, go to work. Why? Because we're structuring the things fundamentally incorrectly. If it's truly a decision meeting, then you want to ask a non-binary question, like how safe is it? How? And you can do cards, you can do digital things, you can just use your hands, use the digits on your hand. That's why they're called digits. And well, what do I get from that? So every day I say, how safe is it? And everyone holds up a 5, 20 people. They scan around. Then one day I ask, how safe is it? And a couple of people hold up a 4 and maybe one person a 3. Now they're sending a signal. Mm-hmm. It's too hard socially to be the person who stops the action and say, I don't think it's safe. And safety isn't binary, but we ask a binary question about it. So what you say, so now, I've asked the question in a way which the team has sent me a signal. The signal is something that's changed. However safe it was yesterday, it's not quite as safe today. What's going on, guys? Well, hey, we're going up to the 3rd floor. We're shifting from concrete to wood. There's an ice storm blowing in, and 4 of our key guys are sick, and we have 4 people we never worked with before. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, maybe today's not the day when we say we got to make up time from the last week. Right. Maybe today's the day I schedule an extra supervisor walkabout, or I'm particularly attuned to knowing, observing when people start making mistakes or getting under stress, or the weather's bad, or a knockoff, or whatever it happens. To, is it safe? And everyone says yes and nods their head, and someone goes out there and gets hurt. You say, well, I didn't know. Yeah, well, guess what? That was exactly your fault. And too many times leaders say, well, no one told me. Yeah, guess whose fault that is? Yours. Because you didn't ask questions in a way that made it easy for them to tell you. Absolutely. Well, they should tell me no matter what. True, but if that's what you're saying, is that what you're banking on? Good luck.
Thanks, Captain Marquet. I appreciate you joining GAWDA TV. Have a great day.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing everybody. What you guys do is important and great. I like it when the skyscrapers I walk through don't fall down.
It is important to keep your equipment running. Cryovation's thecryoshop.com has all the parts you need on the shelf to keep your plant going. Valves, vaporizers, pump parts, and more. Visit www.thecryoshop.com.
Today's member news segment is brought to you by Anthony Welded Products, 4 generations strong since 1958. The next GAWDA Consultant and Member Live COVID-19 Roundtable will take place on May 5th. Click the link in the registration for more information. Flange Wizard named Rob Doan as its new president. Metal Impact acquired Luxfer's aluminum gas cylinders division. Central McGowan President and CEO Joe Francis was named St. Cloud Small Business Owner of the Year by St. Cloud Area Chamber of Commerce. Weldcoa held its first Leader and Hoses Safety Summit on April 12th and 13th. ESAB Robust Feed Wire Feeder received the highly coveted Red Dot Award for product design. The IWDC announced that it set an all-time monthly record in March 2021. Lincoln Electric announced that Lisa Shapiro has been promoted to Vice President, Corporate Controller. Finally, GAWDA welcomed new members: Dennis Welding Supply, Calibration Technologies, IPG Photonics, Alliance Distribution Partners, Meritus Gas Partners, and Repower to the association. Thank you for joining GAWDA. We look forward to seeing you at future events. If you have member news that you'd like to see in the GAWDA Connection or a future episode of GAWDA TV, click the link in the description. And now we welcome back to the show GAWDA board member and COO of Earlbeck Gases and Technologies, Allison Earlbeck. Allie, it is great to see you. Thanks so much for joining again.
Thanks again, Adam.
You will be presenting at the SMC as part of the sales and marketing track. Can you give an overview of some of the things you will be discussing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will be introducing our sales and marketing leaders within our industry to something that we've had a lot of success with in our organization. So I'm going to be helping everybody create a playbook for success through company alignment. So for us, it's really started out at the most basic level, which is to define our niche and our sweet spot within our industry for our customers, and then how to make sure that that is being represented across all channels. So making sure that that's being represented in marketing, and then also making sure that everybody within the company understands that and understands how they in their specific role are able to make sure that we are delivering that to our customer.
Your presentation deals with developing and training. We spend so much time talking about recruiting, but not enough time talking about what to do with new employees once they join the company. Can you talk about how you have found success at Earlbeck?
This is a question that I love. So we realized that we were focusing on all of the traditional HR aspects when we were onboarding somebody. So we were just talking about, the I-9s, the W-4s, all the paperwork. However, we weren't really taking time to introduce the company to our new employees from a value, from a mission, from a history standpoint. So we've actually created a training program that focuses on making sure that new employee gets acclimated to our company within the first 90 days. So we are able to bring them in through the program and consistently train them each time through a process to make sure that they really understand how to fit in within our culture and how to be successful as quickly as possible.
This year's SMC introduced the educational tracks. Why are you so excited about that concept, and how do you feel it increases the value of the SMC?
I think that this is going to be a great addition to the SMC. So typically, we always have a dialogue as far as which people we are going to be able to send to the SMC. So we start out by looking at the speakers and trying to make sure that we are sending somebody that is going to be relevant to be able to receive that information, bring it back to our team, and introduce it to the rest of the team. However, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to justify the investment of sending somebody if they're only going to be able to participate in one of the speaker's presentations. With the introduction of the tracks, we are now able to send people at all different levels and all different departments, and we are able to ensure that they are going to be meeting the appropriate contacts, so they'll be able to build their network and get to know people that are in similar positions, so some of their peers within the industry, and then also make sure that they're going to be able to take home a lot of really good, relevant take-home information. So we're really excited about the new introduction of the tracks. I think it's going to be a great change.
Thank you, Allie. Appreciate you joining again. Have a great day.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it.
A relative newcomer to the GAWDA community, DDS is a leading provider of web-ready product content in the gas and welding industry with over 700,000 SKUs. Whether you're launching or improving your e-commerce offering, DDS is ready to help make it easy. We're now very excited to welcome GAWDA President-elect and President of Red Ball Oxygen, Bob Ewing, back on the show. Bob, happy to have you back on. Thank you for joining.
Hey, thanks. It's great to be here.
We'll be meeting in person for the first time since 2019 annual convention. What are you most excited about with regards to this year's Spring Management Conference?
Just seeing everybody again. I mean, it's been a long time since we've been able to see our friends in the industry and have those face-to-face interactions, and that's what I'm looking forward more than anything. I think we've got a great venue. That place that we're going in Nashville is just an awesome place for a meeting like this, where we can interact in an enjoyable environment and do it safely. And the content that Abity has lined up for this meeting, I mean, this is really unique. We've got 23 different speakers, and only 2 of them are outside the industry. So there's going to be a lot of content, that probably more content in a couple days than any industry meeting I've ever attended. So I'm really looking forward to that. We're going to bring a lot of people. So I think we'll take a lot of value home from that meeting.
This year, for the first time, the SMC has 5 different educational tracks. Is there one of the tracks or topics that you're most excited about to attend this year?
Well, I have to pitch Red Ball's own Craig Harris, who will be doing a talk on operational KPIs. So I'm excited about that. I'll probably also be really excited to hear from Robert Anders on being a non-family executive, the joys and challenges of that, because that's my own background. So I'm really excited to hear what he has to say. But there's, as you said, there's 5 tracks, so you can't bring home all the content if you only bring one person to the meeting. So we're going to bring 5 or 6 people so that we can bring home all that content and share it internally, because it's just too much for one person to digest, and you can't be in 5 places at one time.
Thank you, Bob, for coming back on the show. Have a great day. And now we'd like to welcome to the show Vice President and General Manager of General Air, Ryan Craven. Ryan will be giving a presentation at the SMC entitled, Getting Your Employees to Give a Damn. Ryan, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Thank you for having me.
You'll be giving a presentation at this year's SMC entitled, Getting Employees to Give a Damn. Can you give attendees a preview of some of the things you'll be discussing in that presentation?
Yeah, definitely. That's probably one of the biggest things that employers are going to, struggle with in these coming days is, getting their employees to give a damn. And some of the biggest things is engagement, right? So engagement, when you're seeing companies and employees measure engagement, Gallup came out and said, 71% of most employees are disengaged with their work. So that leaves only about 31% that are actually engaged in their job, right? And so we're battling that, each and every day. And so if you can increase engagement, you can increase the bottom line by 27%, productivity by 38%, right? So you got to get employees to give a damn, right, about what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. And so, we're going to dive into really 7 attributes of what drives engagement from my perspective. And, culture, hiring, benefits and wages, training, management, satisfaction in the job, and safety are really those 7 principles that I believe drive engagement and get employees to give a damn. And we'll dive deep into about 2 of those if we had time. And then I'd always make myself available to go deeper with some of those. But I believe that's what we really need to cover to engage our employees in the workforce, so we can flip that narrative, flip that script, right, of getting employees 71%. I mean, just wrap your head around that. 71% of employees are disengaged or deeply disengaged with work. If we can flip that script, we'll be better as an industry, we'll be better as a company, and we'll be able to service our customers even better.
Just like the word culture has become a buzzword, it seems like in recent years, there's been a trend toward quote unquote cool offices with things like ping pong tables and stocked bars. Do you think employees are actually driven by things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's hard for me not to answer. Like, that is the key to success, right? Is your culture. And the biggest thing, if it's not clearly defined for your employees and communicated and shared by all, then you get subcultures that pop up all over your organization, right? And those subcultures will take on a mind of their own, and they'll be harder to overcome as you continue to go down the road and grow and develop as an organization. So you really need to have a clearly defined culture and what that means, and have everybody bought into that, right? And there's certain ways that drives people to give a damn, is having them buy into the culture and where you're going. And so I think it is a big key to success. Is culture. It drives the employees you're hiring. It drives the work that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And so it is one of the leverage, what I think one of the 7 principles of teaching employees to give a damn and driving engagement. It is a topic that I see happen more and more. We have a ping pong table or a foosball table. I'd be lying to you today if I didn't say, we have a gaming system in our break room there. But, do I think those perks are what drive employees? I really don't. I think it's a part of it, but it really depends on what is your passion and purpose? What is your mission? And how are you aligning that to the employees you're hiring, right? So what is it that you're trying to do? Because where you invest your money and then where you invest your time is what's going to make a difference, right? So, if it is that you want people playing ping pong or doing whatever like that, then go for it. Our biggest thing is community, right? So when we remodeled, I think you want to create a presence and awareness that invites community in, right? So we remodeled and are continuing to remodel a lot of our locations to have community centers. Now, obviously with COVID and everything, it kind of put a damper on some of those things, but as we start to open back up, that's a big thing. Where can you create an environment that brings and fosters community and collaboration? Those are the things you're going to need to be successful and continue to be successful. And so if it is a ping pong table that you think is going to foster that, then, by all means, or if it's a stock bar, by all means, for us, that's not how we've gone about it. We've created environments where people feel like they want to gather, right? Soda machines, there's coffee, there's different meeting spaces that are flexible for all kind of different working, whether it's a meeting or a lunch or bringing a vendor or a customer in. So creating those atmospheres that creates a sense of community and collaboration, to me, is the key, because where you're investing your time, energy, and effort into is what employees are going to see. I mean, they're there for you 8 to 10 hours a day. So are they coming to a place that feels inviting and welcoming, and a place that they want to be a part of? So whether that's a ping pong table or a stock bar or whatever, that's pretty much goes back to the mission and vision and purpose of what you're trying to accomplish as an organization. And we've done it through creating community centers and places where people feel comfortable gathering.
This is a topic that impacts all GAWDA members of all sizes and shapes. Any last thoughts that you'd like to leave attendees with before we gather together in Nashville?
Yeah, I would say there's 2 things that are going to carry most of our organizations to continue to be relevant in the future. And it's training and technology. And so how are we leveraging that? And that's one of the 7 components, I believe, that give people to give a damn. And so how are we leveraging those? And so I hope people will come to GAWDA, be able to come to the breakout session for how to getting people to give it down, so we can go deeper with some of those, and really just spend time listening to your employees and engaging in that process with them, because those employees that are coming in on a day-to-day basis are what's going to drive you into the future and continue to help maintain your relevancy in the marketplace.
Thanks so much for joining. You have a great day.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure, and look forward to seeing everybody in GAWDA.
New polishing filter from SurePurity that purifies gases at the point of use. CO2 for fountain, CO2 lasers, even nitrogen for mixed gas dispense. This is an added revenue stream for gas distributors in the installation and annual service. Help solidify your accounts with this equipment installation. Build long-term relationships and avoid the price war. Add great value to your customers that their customers will notice and appreciate. Call SurePurity for more information about their filtration programs to add value and revenue to your fountain, beverage, and high purity gas customers today. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. We hope you're as excited as we are to meet again in person at this year's Spring Management Conference. Once again, to register for the show, click the link in the description. Join us on May 15th when we will be giving more SMC related content as well as speaking to some of GAWDA's past presidents. It's an episode you absolutely do not want to miss. For GAWDA TV, I'm Adam Vanderhoof.